1.
What is up, fans and coaches of the ASL? It's Susie here with Hutch, and we are here for the Week 8 playoff implications video. This is our second week of doing this, so we may be a little bit rusty, I guess, as we're kind of getting into uh, a role with this type of video, but uh, help you guys understand how the playoff race is going to be going forward.
Yep, so like you said, this is basically just to show you guys what the standings kind of look like in a broken down situation, and we'll show you guys the team's records, upcoming games, and what they need to do to get into playoffs. So you're doing evens again?
Yep.
All right, so go ahead and
Before we go into
introduce
this
the first
first
one.
team, I just kind of want to apologize for the really bad intro.
That was great, it was
And
great.
let's hop right into this with the bottom feeder. And guess what? Everyone's favorite bottom feeder does not have a donut in the left side anymore of his win loss column. Malone is 1-7 now, picking up his first win. His differential now is only negative 23. Only negative 23, guys. That's an improvement. He's still 4 games back, and well, it's pretty difficult. He's got to play Laurie, Keister, Ian, Demaster, and Ghost. And Ghost plays really well at times, despite him being 2-5. So Malone's coming off a very good victory,
Oh,
but it's going to
right.
be very difficult for him to make this run, even with his brand new team. So good luck, Malone. You're going to need it.
I just want to mention that I completely forgot to update the records, so that's my bad, but I'm not going to fix it because I don't want to restart the recording because that was a Flames intro. But yeah, like you said, Malone, it's going to be very tough for him to climb back into this. He's 4 games out, there's 5 games left. So if he loses one game, he is literally done. He has to win out to even have a chance. Even then, I give him like a 4% chance to make the playoffs because it just doesn't look likely at this point. So it's technically possible, but doesn't look very possible. Next up, we have the Royal Gardevoir, coached by Gustavo, who took a 2-0 loss last week. So now they are 3 games back and negative 16 differential. It's okay for being 2-6. He's got to play tough opponents coming up, and unlike Malone, he could possibly afford to slip up one game, but really you got to shoot for 7-6, so he's kind of got to win all of his games. So it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, Gustavo coming off a rough loss. He has his bright moments. He has disappointing moments as well. It's going to be very tough. But with a new roster, which I'm sure he's going to have a lot of fun prepping with some new fresh blood, um, there's a shot he can make the playoffs, but I don't think anyone's going to bet on a 2-6 team fighting back to make the playoffs. It's going to be very tough, Gustavo.
Right. And before we introduce this next team, I'm just gonna say this to Susie: don't make me edit this out again. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, go ahead and introduce the next team.
Currently 12th place. The Nightmare Needle Kings are coached by Inaria.
We did it.
I didn't slip up.
Not yet, at least.
Inaria,
Keep reading.
Inaria is 2-6 and has a disappointing -13 differential. Coming off a pretty solid game, losing a 1-0 battle to Ian. Inaria is getting better every single week, and with a lot of mons that we know he likes, I definitely think he's got the best shot of any of the 2-6 teams to make the playoffs. And it may be kind of crazy, but I would not be that surprised if Inaria to the playoff race or one of the top seeds in the consolation bracket, despite his very difficult schedule.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Coming off a 1-0 loss to Ian is actually really impressive because Ian's sitting in third, if I'm not mistaken. And negative 13 differential isn't that bad for 2-6. Like, if anyone's gonna come back, it's gonna be Anaria. He's got a great team, but yeah, it'll be interesting. just because I'm pretty sure he traded away all of his hazard removal, and he has a Mega Charizard X, so that might be a little bit interesting. But I could definitely see it possible. And Ari is a great battler, and last season he did really well, despite having to leave after like week 4 or 5. Next up, we have the Keldeo Hub Resolutes, a 2-6 with a -7 differential, which is a very impressive differential. As you can see, most of these games were actually 1-0 losses. But Ghost, I mean, I would give Anaria a better shot than Ghost just because Anaria likes Ghost team, while Ghost did make a lot of transactions. I just think Ghost kind of hates his team a little bit too much. But coming off a 1-0 loss against Rocker, I was watching that game, and I personally think that he choked that game. All he had to do was keep Zygarde and Mega Blastoise alive, and he won the game. But he sacked off Zygarde 10%, so that ultimately led him to get swept by a Thundurus. So yeah, such is life.
I agree. That last battle, Ghost looked like an artist of sorts, not an artist who does graphic design or drawing or painting, but a choke artist.
Oh
It
my
was
god.
it was not the
Oh
best
my god.
end game, but Ghost has had some bright moments and some again disappointing moments. He was able to trade away a lot of Mons and build himself a new team, but he did keep his least favorite Mon, as no one in the league wanted to pick up Mega Blastoise. I'm While Ghost may have some new Mons, I don't really think it's going to motivate him enough to put a lot of hard work into his prep, as he is currently not that much into Mons at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely agreed. So go ahead and introduce the next team, which is only 2 games back.
In the 10th spot right now, we have a former playoff coach, which I say every single video. We have Static, the coach of the Inter Milotic, one of the best logos in the league. 5, with the differential of -5. He's only 2 games back, and the rest of his schedule is probably about an average like difficulty schedule. He doesn't have to face one of the top 3 or 4 teams, I believe, and face 2 teams with losing records currently. Static has a very good shot to still make the playoffs, and I don't think anyone would be surprised if he does.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Static is a phenomenal battler. I've seen him play well in the past, and the match against him and it literally came down to 8% on Victini. So it was a really close game, and it really could have gone either way if he would have gotten some prior chip damage on Victini. He's a great battler. He's got a pretty good team, and his schedule is pretty like mediocre to be honest. But he can afford to lose like maybe 2 games, pretty much only one. So yeah, he could definitely climb back through, and his differential isn't that bad. So next up, we have everyone's favorite Pokemon player. We got Rocker, coach of the Florida Fossils. 4-4 with a -7 differential. That differential is gonna probably be the reason that Rocker doesn't make playoffs because his differential is so bad. Because he's been 6-0'd once this season and has lost some fairly big matches, but did come off a win over Ghost. He's only 1 game back, so he really only needs to win like 3 of his games. But he has a decently tough schedule. Plays Keister, he plays Ian, he plays me, he plays you, and he plays Static, which are all pretty decent contenders for the playoff spot. But Rocker could definitely do it.
Right now, Rocker, you're kind of broken, apparently. And while the master ended up breaking the league with his transactions,
Oh my
he
god.
sort of broke the Rocker bot. So I hope you're okay. And to be honest, your odds of playoffs are very, very low just because of your difficulty of schedule. It's probably the hardest remaining schedule. And again, you're broken. So unless we can get some software to get you up and running again, I don't see how Rockerbot is going to make a run for the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So next up, go ahead and introduce it.
In the 8th spot, we have everybody's favorite old man. That's just a joke, guys. Relax. You're not old, okay, Anderson. We have Brad, the coach of the Contract Killers. Right now, Anderson is sitting at even 500 record at 4-4 with a positive differential of 2. He's only one game back, and he has probably about a average schedule for the rest of the season. He doesn't have to play any of the top 3 teams, and he does get to play 2 teams that have a record below 500. Brad's team is very interesting, but he was able to pick up some actual decent mons, such as Starmie and Mamoswine, which are definitely going to help him as a battler, as a prepper, and his team in general. I think he's going to make the playoffs just because he's been doing fairly well with such a unique team. Real threats. I think it's definitely going to give him a solid spot in the playoffs.
Yeah. He is 8th. He was the number 1 seed last season. Of course, his team isn't that good this season because he's trying new stuff out. But he did lose 5-0, which is going to severely hurt him because he had a really good differential before, but now it's down to +2, which is still an okay differential. And he's got a semi-difficult schedule, but only 1 game back, and like Rocker, he really only needs to go like 3-2. I definitely give him a much better shot than Rocker because he has 9 more differential points. Plus, I just think Anderson is a more experienced and better battler. No offense, Rocker.
Yep.
And then next up, we have everyone's either enemy or enemy for me. I could definitely say that. Or you love him because you traded 14 times with him. Oh my god. I just get a headache. I just get a headache just from thinking about those 24 hours. 34 transactions in 24 hours. 34. Anyways, the Master coming off a 3-0 loss to you, Susie, the coach of the Utah Hoots, is
I am pretty good.
at the same spot as Anderson. Literally same win streak, same differential, same record. So basically same scenario as Anderson. I think DeMaster has a little bit more difficult of a schedule because he has to play people like Laurie and Anderson and Static, but does have some easier games sprinkled in there, such as playing against Malone or playing against Ghost.
DeMaster, again, you either hate him or you hate him. He's kind of, if you didn't know his age, I think most people in the league would guess he's like probably 12 tops, just because of how ADHD he is at times with his erratic transactions. Him dropping, I think, 2 mons on draft day, or was at least the first week.
Dude, he was trading to trade.
Exactly. But then again, never mind, as he somehow has composed an absolutely disgusting roster that his last 5 opponents will not want to prep for. I mean, I'm glad I got to play his old team. His new team is just disgusting. It may not have the Mega Torpedo, but it's a much more complete team that doesn't rely on a late game sweeper. So I really like the Masters playoff chances just because his team is so good. And his schedule is actually probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be shocked if he doesn't get the 6th playoff spot, to be honest.
I disagree with that, but we'll get to that in a minute. So go ahead. I believe you're introducing this one. Yeah.
In 6th place, we have the coach of the Netherlandians, Larry. I think week 3, Larry's been sitting in a playoff spot. Does that sound right? I think so, right?
Since week 3 sounds right. 2 or 3.
First bad game. Laurie's played very well, and she's coming off a 1-0 loss. But at the same time, that's to TG, and TG said it was one of the best games he's played all time in Draft League, if not the best game. Gave him a run for his money. And I think I can speak for everyone in the ASL where, besides our personal teams, we'd love to see a Laurie TG final. Last battle they played. is going into the playoffs, and she's got a schedule that looks like at least 3 of these games should be wins for her. So I like her chances, and it's gonna be fun to see what she can do in the playoffs.
Yeah. Her team is just too good for her not to make playoffs. Her low differential would be the thing that costs her, and that's why I think she's gonna get a lower playoff spot. But she has this sand team with like Suicune, Torn T, Shaman, friggin'
Glade.
Mega Glade. Yeah, it's her team is so good, and even her lower tier mons are pretty good as well. Coming off a 1-0 loss against TG, that's pretty impressive to be honest. But since TG's like 6-0'd like two people, but I mean her low differential is the reason why she's sitting in sixth. Otherwise, she would be sitting in. She would have a chance to sit in third because she dropped from third to sixth just because of her low differential. But if she can win some big matches and get the differential up, I definitely think she will be in it. I think she'll make the playoffs either way though. So next up, we have the second most favorite team. Psych, it's the first favorite team. Step out of line. Florida Floatals. We got the Utah Hoots, coached by Susie. They came off a 3-0 victory over the Master, 5-3 with a +4 differential. That differential definitely should be higher. And personally, I have no idea how you won against the Master. You shouldn't have won that game. I'll be 100% honest. Um, like the Master had that game in the bag. Just saying. And I mean, it's just you have a very good team, and picking up Raikou for Rotom Wash after you already have Slowking, that's a pretty solid trade. Does add your Earthquake weak team. Well, it's not that weak. Never mind. Anyways, you have a very good team, and you have a pretty easy schedule going forward.
Keep the compliments coming.
No, 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 no. Go ahead, go ahead.
To be honest, my week 8 battle, I'll go through what was going through my head in this battle. So my thought the entire battle was, well, I don't know why he didn't bring Terrakion. If I keep Scrafty alive, I have a shot. So you're saying I got a chance. So I don't know how he played that so bad. All I know is very extensively with a very good battler in this league. And then he threw it all the way out of the window into left field and decided to come up with some new prep the morning of our battle, just for the fun of it. Even better, he decided to roll out with that prep and play me with that new prep that was bad. I don't know what was going through his head, but it was an ugly, ugly, ugly win. Yes, I was neck and neck with the Master. I'm one game ahead of him now, which helps a lot. And for the rest of the season, my schedule is probably a little bit below average in terms of difficulty. And the magic number is probably 8 to be safe and at least 2 for a shot.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce what you would call the most Rock Week team ever to be conspired.
The 4th spot, we have a good coach with a bad team. We have Hutch, the coach of the Portland
My
Timbers.
team is amazing.
This team is terrible. So this guy decides to go out and draft / pick up, I think, 4 or 5 Rock Week Mons at least, including his Mega. I can list the ones off the top of my head for you guys. He's got Victini, Rotom Frost,
Mega Pinsir.
Mega
I
Pinsir.
did have Ribombi.
Until this week, Rabombi. Who else?
Dude, I have two rock weaknesses. What do you want?
So throughout the season by getting Fortress in week 3. Week 3. I watched your video. I remember that.
Hey.
So I like how he's been fixing his roster, and he also got rid of, despite how amazing it is and how it's the best Gen 7 Mon, he had to get rid of it for a different fairy, Comfey. I really like his team's makeup now. And he's coming off a solid 1-0 win over Static, who played very well. So that kind of worries me as I have to play Static this week. But for
All
the
right.
rest of the year, I really like Hutch's shot at the playoffs, and he's got a crisp schedule, which I think he'll run right through to a mid-tier.
All right, your voice just completely cut out. But time to talk about the Portland Godbers. Coached by the best coach ever. Psych, they trash. 5-3 with a +7 differential. I think I have a relatively easy schedule. I'm not gonna really talk about my team too much, just because it'd be my opinion about my team. But I think I have an okay shot at making playoffs. Yeah, I have a decently easy schedule. I really only have to win like 2 more games. 3 would basically secure it. I definitely think I could make playoffs. So next up, we got the hottest team in the league. Not even because their mascot is an Arcanine, but the Arcane Arcanines. Coming off a 1-0 victory over Inari. That was a very close game. Jolteon putting in the work, and with a +11 differential, I don't see a reality where Ian doesn't make the playoffs. Like, that's a really good differential for being 5-3, and he has a really really easy schedule coming up. He has to win like 2 games to get in like 3 games to clinch it. And there is no way he won't win at least 3 games in his next 5. He does play some tougher teams like Laurie and TG, but he does play like Rocker, Gustavo, and Malone. So I definitely see Ian making it.
Yep. Ian's team is still insane, and Static, Ian still are gonna just hate you. You gave him Umbreon, which allows him the Wish Pass to Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini's already been the best defensive Mon all season, and now with a Mon who can Wish Pass uh, consistently, it makes it even more of a threat. In these last 5 games is gonna be giving Static any thanks. I think Ian is gonna definitely win at least 3 games, if not 4, and get a very high playoff position. I really love his team, and the way he's playing right now is very good.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce the number 2 team.
Number 2 spot, we have the real Cam, the coach of the Phoenix Flygons. Keister is having a season to remember so far. 7-1 with a +19 differential. Right now, he's getting to sit on his couch during the first round of the playoffs. Not because he got eliminated, but because he's got a first round bye. Coming off a very solid win over Brad, and with Keister's very strong team versus Brad's interesting team, Brad didn't really have a shot from the get go. Or beat him by such a large margin. I definitely see Keister winning at least 3, if not at least 4 spot going into the playoffs.
Yeah, like you said, Keister, this was literally the perfect week for Keister because TG only won 1-0 and Keister won by 5-0. So in terms of Keister trying to get that number 1 seed, he's doing a pretty good job at it. He's winning by big margins and TG's not winning by that much. The only thing that could make it more perfect is if TG would actually lose, but that's kind of unheard of. So Keister, he needs to win like 1 more game and he's guaranteed playoffs, and like 2 or 3 more, and he guarantees a first round bye. Which his schedule is extremely easy now that I'm looking at it, all except for TG, which that week 11 game is gonna be so hype. But yeah, I give him a 105% chance to make playoffs. If he doesn't make playoffs, I will be disappointed in him for the rest of eternity because it's kind of impossible not to make it. You literally have to win like 1 more game when you have 5 left. But he's nearing close to TG. Speaking of TG, we have the BC Bibros here, 71 with a +23 differential. So they have 4 more differential points than Keister, coming off a 1-0 victory over Laurie, which was a very, very good match. Could have gone either way. But TG did end up winning that. And TG has a much tougher schedule than Keister going down the line. So I definitely think that Keister has a better shot at the first pit, or good lord, the first seed. But either one of them could easily make either one of them could be the first seed just because they're so close in differentials. TG has a better differential. Keister has an easier schedule. But yeah, I'd give TG like 105% chance, maybe 108, just because he has a higher differential. But yeah, go ahead and give your 2 cents on TG.
Right now, I'm feeling that TG is gonna leave the league just randomly, give the team to Tony, and Tony's gonna lose the rest of the next 5 games and fall out of the playoff race. That's all a joke, guys. Relax. TG, it's just another day at the office, just going in and doing what you're supposed to do, which is win. You make your team, you make all the monsters in your team play their full potential. You bring great prep, and not very often that you make the wrong choice in battle. You play safe when you need to, you make risks, and you're very good at reading your opponent. Uh, I'm going to try to use you for a little bit of a playoff warm up, probably, and you're probably going to blow me back like 4-0, 5-0 at least. Your team is phenomenal. Keep that first round bye because if anyone else takes it, it's going to be Hutch because Hutch is a beast.
Okay, stop. No, 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 no. Okay, so going on to the playoff picture, that's what it looks like. Basically exactly what we just told you guys. Just that's screenshot from the standings. So yeah. Anything you want to add, Susie, while we're here?
I just want to say that the craftsmanship of this dock is phenomenal. Whoever made this dock is just a dock wizard of sorts, I guess. And we should really appreciate the dock he makes for us more and how it's automated and such. So whoever that guy is, we should really thank him.
I mean, I don't even know the guy. I mean, it's complete. It's almost a completely automatic dock, but I don't know who to thank. Do you know,
So
Susie?
thank you guys for sitting through some of my bad puns and my bad laughs and getting off course like the master. But thank you, Hutch, for the doc. And I, you coaches, just know what you guys got to do to get into this playoff race, and you better win out, Malone.
All right, so that is gonna take us out for playoff picture or the playoff implications week 8. Uh, so go ahead and go back and go to the certain parts if you want to, pause the video, whatnot, whatnot, and we will see you guys in the next video. Don't know what it's gonna be, so I'm not gonna title it, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. You gonna say goodbye or no?
Bye bye.